It was beautiful and brisk on October 30th. The leaves were falling as Charlie Johnson drove his old primer-spotted truck along the winding dirt of County Road 17. Noticing a path cutting through the woods, Charlie turned his old truck around and pulled off the road and parked in a natural clearing. He took his backpack from the floorboard, slid off the bench seat, shut the heavy steel, well, half-rust really, door of the Ford and began to walk the path. About 15 minutes into his journey, Charlie came upon two teenagers, a boy and a girl, standing by the path holding hands. Not wanting to startle them, Charlie called out far from his approach. "Hello there," he called, thinking that it was strange to come upon other people in this remote neck of the woods, but not impossible after all because he was taking a walk himself. The two turned to face him and he noticed that finding them being out here wasn't the only odd thing about them. Their clothes were decades-old styles, but they seemed quite new. "Hello to you," the girl said. The boy nodded acknowledgement at Charlie. The couple couldn't be over 20 years old, he thought. It would be a stretch to say that they were 22. "What brings you this way, sir?" the girl asked. Charlie stopped when he reached them. "A walk on a beautiful fall day," he said, giving them a smile. "You might want to rethink that, mister," the boy said, and Charlie noticed that the boy's hair was freshly cut short, not shaggy like a usual boy his age. "Why is that?" Charlie asked. "These woods are haunted," the girl said with a slow nod. Charlie waited for the punchline to the joke, looking back and forth between them. The two said nothing. Charlie scoffed. "Haunted? By what?" "There was the disappearance of a girl and her boyfriend years ago," the boy said. "Ever since, people who walk on this day, the anniversary of the disappearance, they go missing too." Charlie laughed. "What are you talking about? I've never heard of such. When did this happen?" The girl answered, "Don't know how many years it's been, but honest, mister, people who walk on this day are never heard from again." To Charlie, she spoke like a character from a 70s TV show. "All right," he said, and waved a hand in disbelief. "Thanks for the warning." Charlie looked at them both for an unsettling minute, after which he decided that they were just fooling him. "Y'all have a nice day," he said, and continued his walk. Soon after, a steady breeze picked up, rustling the trees, making the leaves fall heavier and carpet the path that he was on. The sun's rays turned a pale orange and the trees seemed to stretch toward the sky as he looked up. Charlie thought that a few seemed to actually be laughing. He looked at his wrist and then realized he'd left his watch in the truck. The band was often too loose or too tight, and he'd gotten in the bad habit of simply removing it at such times. How long had he actually been out here walking, he wondered. Just then he heard a guttural shriek in the distance, a startling, soul-wrenching cry of pain. Charlie decided it was time to go back. But as he turned, the leaves had fallen so thick that his path was obscured to the point of unrecognition. He looked more closely at the ground to see if he could determine his footpath, and it was then that he noticed that many of the leaves had faces on them. Some were old faces, some were young faces, all of them with many expressions ranging from fear and sadness to surprise and pain. The shriek came again, and Charlie whipped around in a daze. He looked left and right and noticed sitting off the path was an old wooden staircase. He looked at it more closely and saw that it led to a single door standing in its frame. There was nothing to its left or to its right, and there was nothing beyond it. Just then the door cracked open from its frame. Suddenly the leaves seemed to swirl and dance. From inside Charlie's head there came a whisper, "Come and see." He felt a foot step forward, and then the other. Another shriek came from behind him, but he barely noticed. "Come and see," was all he heard. He was almost unaware that his right foot landed on the first step, and then his left foot welcomed the second. His right foot yearned for the third step, and on it went until he reached the door. "Come and see," he heard. He faintly noticed the knob was brass, being more aware of the smile on his face and the unavoidable urge to walk through the door. He pushed forward. It was October 30th. He knew because someone was coming. It was someone new. They were whistling. They were whistling. He turned to the boy and girl standing beside him, and he finally got their attention. "We should go," he said. "We should warn them."